Oh, hey friends, Ash here with Gents. Don't mind me, I'm just polishing the tip of my bottle here. Gotta get it ready for date night. But yeah, today we're gonna be talking about 10 different fantastic date night fragrances, cool weather. So for this time of year, fall or winter, if you're in the northern hemisphere. Right now, if you're in the southern hemisphere, I imagine it's not getting cooler. But that's what's on the agenda today. That's what's on our plate. Some awesome date night fragrances. Let's jump into it. Let's talk about them. And before we do jump into these fragrances, how about we talk about some codes? Yes, twistedlily.com and maxaroma.com have given us the code GENTS10, which will save you 10% off your order. Or if you shop at luckyscent.com, it's 10 Gents, which will also save you 10%. So let's talk about some scents. Let's talk about some fragrances. This one is an extra, the one that I was polishing up. The cap there, it was looking a little rough, but now it's looking better. This is from Merchant Venice, and the fragrance is called Arabesque. And this one is sometimes difficult to find in the United States. On rare occasion, it will pop up at discounters, and if it does and you're interested, I would scoop it because they don't get many. That's actually where I got mine. I got it at Fragrance Net many years ago. So this line of bottles from Merchant of Venice, all of them look amazing. This fragrance is a tobacco scent. It has some similarities to Tobacco Vanille, but it's not quite as outwardly sweet as Tobacco Vanille is. It's very, very smooth. Actually, one of the best fragrances from the house that I've ever smelled, I'd say. Pretty comfortably, actually. It also has cinnamon, tonka, and plum along with that tobacco. So it's a fantastic choice for somebody looking for a tobacco fragrance that's off the beaten path, that's very seductive and alluring with good performance, but that isn't really overly cloying. All right, so let's get started with one of the official 10 of this list with Pure Excess Night by Paco Rabanne. And I will link each one of these in the description below in case you want to check them out. Pure Excess and Pure Excess Night, you know, they're kind of under the radar a little bit. They're not as hyped, not as talked about as a lot of other designer fragrances, but I think they work amazingly. This one has some interesting notes. It's got ginseng in there, which is used in like nothing, essentially. Then it has caramel, vanilla, it has myrrh, it has cacao, so you know that it's gonna be a sweet scent, and it is. It's very powerful as well, but it has this nice effervescence to it, this almost sparkly feel, especially when you first spray it on, which is gonna help counteract that sweetness a little bit. It's gonna give it some life. After that, let's talk about, La Nuit Alone, but it's not the original, this is the Eau de Parfum. So La Nuit Alone Eau de Parfum obviously is not the hype beast that the original La Nuit Alone was, or that La Nuit Alone Bleu Electrique was. So this one has cardamom, it has that original La Nuit DNA in there, has leather as it dries down, so that's gonna be a bit of a difference, has more freshness in the opening from grapefruit, and then a big heaping helping dose of tonka, which is a note that people love. The performance of La Nuit Eau de Parfum is better than the original, and that's a sticking point with the original. Some people say that it doesn't perform well enough, doesn't last long enough, doesn't project hard enough, but this one fixes that. Let's get this one out of the way, the one Eau de Parfum. So we did La Nuit, gotta have the one fragrance as well. And yeah, the one Eau de Parfum is maybe not like the sexiest choice in terms of being unique for a list like this, but it's close to the sexiest choice, if not outright the sexiest choice if you're talking about just date night scents, because this is a compliment magnet in every sense of the word. This is one of my most complimented scents ever. Yes, it doesn't project like a monster. I know we just talked about that with La Nuit, but with the one with this style of fragrance, doesn't really matter. But the one Eau de Parfum absolutely is magnetic, seductive. It gets all that hype for a reason. It's a warm, sweet, spicy tobacco fragrance that will stand the test of time. The one Eau de Parfum is awesome. Now let's switch it up, go with something a little bit different, something that works well in fall and also works well in winter, but a lot of people would maybe not consider it an outright winter fragrance at all. It's from Valentino. It is Womo, Born in Roma, Yellow Dream. And yes, the name is bad, and I've pointed that out, and pretty much everybody that exists that has talked about fragrances has pointed that out. Gotta say, I was not impressed with this at all. when it came out, when it was released. And I have softened on that a little bit. This has a similarity to Stronger With You from Emporio Armani, so it's got a little bit of a similar scent profile to that. You know, you're gonna get that warmth, that gourmand feel as it dries down. The difference is in the opening here, it has much more freshness. So you're gonna get this nice pineapple opening with a bit of gingerbread, technically. And I gotta say, it works really well this time of year. You get kind of like a best of both worlds thing going on. So you get that freshness and sweetness in the opening as it dries down, that warmth, that seductive feel. You get both of those things going. Leans a little youthful, but overall, very nice fragrance if you're after some attention and you want something that has a little bit of a fresh edge instead of being just straight up, you know, warm and sweet and rich the whole time. And since I said that has a similarity to Stronger With You, which it does, we'll talk about a Stronger With You next. Stronger With You, absolutely. Of course, my favorite in the lineup as of right now. Really nice booziness here. That's going to be one of the main changes that this makes to the Stronger With You DNA, is that this adds in a really nice, sweet, warm, boozy scent profile. The Stronger With You line in general is just absolutely top-notch, top of the line as far as getting compliments, getting attention, having performance, giving you bang for buck. It does all those things. And Stronger With You absolutely is, for me, the most refined, most appealing, most interesting take on the Stronger With You DNA. Stronger With You Oud is pretty close. Stronger With You Leather is pretty close. But as far as the ones you can actually get with any kind of regularity, this is far and away the best for me. Let's go back to niche. Amouage Boundless. This one right here is one of those fragrances that's perfect for holiday season. So when you get into, you know, the end of fall, beginning of winter, like that transitional period, and then through the new year, this stuff is like tailor-made for that time of year. It's a tobacco fragrance, but it's very spicy. It has this appealing, almost gourmandy, spicy edge to it at times. Resinous as well, a little bit smoky. A lot of stuff going on. The quality's very nice. Now, some people will get a little bit triggered about that. You know, they'll say, no, I like the old Amouage. Which I get it. The old Amouage, if you want to call it that, did have more daring fragrances released with more regularity. And so if that's your thing, then for sure you would look at the older releases and be like, well, superior, right? A lot of the newer Amouages are made to be worn, but also have that really high quality. They're made for more appeal, I guess you'd say. But personally, I love the way it smells. I think this is just perfect, like I said, for this time of year and the next few months. Oh, man. Great performance on that too. Oh, let's talk about this next. Oh, Womo Signature from Ferragamo. I love this. It's funny, there's a guy who leaves comments all the time asking me to contact Armani and go ahead and get them to do an Acqua di Gio fragrance that's for cool weather, which I see you, shout out. I have no power. So what are we getting with Womo Signature here? Well, you're getting coffee, roast coffee. Really enjoy that note. Getting cinnamon, tonka, good amount of it, and leather. Also got cardamom, little citrus, pink pepper. It's a very high end for the price point coffee scent. It's gonna get you that attention you want. It's gonna project well. It's gonna last a long time. Very sexy. It's actually surprisingly very good compliment puller. The original Ferragamo Womo, I enjoyed that a lot. This one I enjoy a lot. And those two fragrances, I didn't expect them to perform as well as they did. So when I first got them in, I was like, man, I love these, so I'm gonna wear them. You know, it's not that thing where you expect a lot of people to reciprocate and be like, hey, you smell awesome, what are you wearing? You wear Y Eau de Parfum or something, you expect that. Womo Signature, maybe you don't, but they work really well. Back to niche, Angel Share by Killian. Very sweet, very sweet. With the nice little spicy tinge. Obviously has a bit of booziness to it. When you look at the note breakdown for this fragrance, it's like 95% of them though are, as I said, sweet type notes. But that is not a bad thing when you're trying to wear something that is appealing, because in my experience, and I've said this a bunch of times, women in general like fragrances that are very fresh or very sweet, or both of those things. Obviously, that's speaking in a huge generality, and there are a lot of people, a lot of ladies out there who would say, no, that's not true. I like fragrances that are very powdery, or I like fragrances that are very oudi. Yes, absolutely 100,000% there will be people out there with differing tastes. But just, again, speaking in generalities, those fragrances seem to work best in pulling compliments. But anyway, Angel Share, very sweet, boozy. That one has gotten probably the most attention from any Killian fragrance over the past few years, pretty easily, I'd say. Just as far as people talking about it and buying it and just, you know, seeing it all over the place. After that, Azzaro, The Most Wanted. And this is the new version, The Most Wanted Parfum. You can tell because it doesn't have an all black bottle at the bottom. Look at that. Wow. It's one of those Azzaro fragrances where they bless us with the whole 3 notes, which is, of course, my favorite. That has bourbon vanilla in the base, and you do get a substantial amount of that. A nice boozy, warm, slightly smoked vanilla. You have woods in the mid, which I think they technically call incandescent woods, and then ginger off the top. Another fragrance that has a bit of a similarity to the Stronger With You line from Emporio Armani. You see it all over the place. That being said, that type of fragrance right now, it works. People love it. There's a reason that you have seen that kind of matriculate out, that type of fragrance, and spread across all sorts of other fragrance lines, almost like a virus or something, but a really nice smelling virus. This one is a perfect date night fragrance. It really is. It's got the right amount of sweetness. It's got that little bit of a masculine edge from the woods and that hint of smoke. And last one, Lalique, White and Black. This one, a little bit of like a hidden gem for the fragrance community. Your average Joe, you know, they've maybe heard about The Most Wanted or obviously The One or La Nuit Alone, but Lalique, White and Black, probably not. Now the presentation is not amazing. This is the Lalique white bottle, only obviously in black. The cap is very cheap feeling. It doesn't look all that assuming, but what's on the inside there, oof, that's good. That's like show-stopping stuff. It has cardamom, it has lavender, it has ambroxan, has vanilla, has olibanum. So it's got a little bit of a smokiness, a nice sweetness to it, warmth, a slight touch of powder. It has a similarity a little bit to Parfums de Marly Layton. And so a lot of people, myself included at times, would say if you don't want to spend Parfums de Marly Layton money, you could get Lalique White and Black, and it's going to be a bit similar. And then, of course, there's also Haramain Detour Noir, which is a cheaper clone of Layton, so you could also go that path. But ultimately, White and Black is very sexy, but also classy date night fragrance and cool weather fragrance. I would say White and Black maybe skews a little bit more toward like middle-aged and older, like a middle-aged and older form of Layton, whereas Detour Noir, probably younger guys would appreciate more than White and Black. But overall, White and Black continues with Lalique's trend of making fragrances that are flippin' awesome that your average Joe will not know about. So yeah, you do. So there we go, 10 fragrances, perfect for dates in cool weather. Thank you guys for hanging with me, and it's obvious, but I'll say it anyway. These are not like the only 10 fragrances that would work great on a date in cool weather. There are like 30 or 40 more just off the top of my head I could pick up and feature right now, but then that would be a much longer video. So I'm gonna bounce for now. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you later. We get it. I get it. Even though I keep rehashing it. Yellow Dream. It's not a good name. At least it's not named Wet Dream, I guess. Like that would be worse, but Yellow Dream's not good. No. I'm like in Jim Henson's The Labyrinth. You know, have you seen that movie? At the end of The Labyrinth, with David Bowie there, Jennifer Connelly says, "You have no power over me," and he just, you know, he ceases to exist, essentially. That's basically the brands talking to me. Like if I reached out to them, I'd be like, "Hey, it's me, Gent Sense. Maybe you heard of me. I would like you to do this kind of fragrance." And they would just be like, "Who's that? I don't care. Go F yourself." That's what they would say.